Hello, this is Kittens cycling in Ireland. Today's cycling is in Beara Peninsula, West Cork. The total distance is about 110 kilometers and descent is about 1500 meters. I deliberately chose this day because today is the best weather of the whole summer this year. You know, this year Ireland had the best June and worst July and August, with the rain almost never ending and always there's a blanket of clouds over the sky. The B&B that I stayed in was Rodin B&B with 9.7 ratings on bookings.com. And this B&B is located just outside of the famous fishing town called Castletownbere. And indeed, this B&B was one of the best that I've stayed in Ireland. I've been here, the Beara Peninsula, about a year ago in autumn. And in Beara Peninsula, there are two famous mountain passes. One is Healy and the other is Caha Pass. When I visited here a year ago, I couldn't climb up Caha Pass because the road was under construction. Today, I will be covering both mountain passes. The overall route of today's cycling is start from Castletownbere, go to Adrigole, and hit a small town called Glengarriff, then climb up Caha Pass, briefly pass by Kenmare, and have lunch at Glenmore Lake, climb up Healy Pass, and come back to Castletownbere. Now I am passing by Adrigole, where there's a small junction in Adrigole where the Healy Pass starts from south. A year ago, I cycled up to the Healy Pass from here, but this time I will be coming from the opposite side, which is north. After Adrigole, now I'm heading further west to Glengarriff, and the road between Adrigole and Glengarriff is quite nice with a very wide width, and there's a couple of very good descents, and it's quite windy too, so it's a bit exciting. And Glengarriff is the town where I stayed in a year ago on my Beara cycling trip. It was late autumn back then. I really enjoyed my stay there, and I especially had a very nice dinner in the nearby hotel called Eccles Hotel. After Glengarriff, now I'm climbing up Caha Pass, and this Caha Pass connects Glengarriff and Kenmare, which is a small town in County Kerry. And overall, the road is not that steep. I think it was about 4 to 5% average climb, and the climb distance is only about 6 kilometers. And as you can see here on the way up, you can get a nice view of Glengarriff Bay, as well as some beautiful mountains, which is quite rare in Ireland compared to Switzerland and perhaps Spain. After the ascent, now there is the descent at the north side of Caha Pass, which goes into the Kenmare village, and it's a quite gentle slope with with bends that are not that sharp. So the road is perfect for fast but safe and relaxing descent. And here comes the two tunnels that are like iconic landmarks of Caha Pass. Of course, these two tunnels aren't that big, but it's quite fun to cycle through. Even after the tunnels, there is a long and nice descent all the way down the mountain. And on the way, I made a quick stop at Molly Gallivan's Visitors Center. But since I'm cycling, I'll visit here next time with my car. After the Caha descent, now I'm heading to the place called Josie's Lakeview Restaurant to fill me up. And on the way, out in the wild, the place called Noktati, I found this great spot, a good looking rock, where I can fly my drone. The drone that I have is DG Mini 2, which is quite an old drone. But still, it has a semi-automated shot mode. But since you can only control the angle of the camera lens in the manual mode, I try to fly this at always at a relatively higher ground. Now I'm arriving at Josie's Lakeview House, which is a nice restaurant right beside Glenmore Lake, to recharge some energy before climbing up the Healy Pass. I had a delicious salmon sandwich with Coke. After lunch, I'm heading up to the Healy Pass, which should be the highlight of today's cycling. Note that it's Healy Pass, not Healy Pass, because it's named after Timothy Michael Healy, who built this pass in 19th century during the famine to help prevent starvation. The lake below is Glenmore Lake, where I had lunch, and overall the road is quite narrow, so the cars have to go slow. It's a nice climb, and as you go up, the scenery becomes better and better. Last year, I cycled this path from the opposite side, which is from south to north, from Adrigal. But I think this way, cycling from north to south, is better because you can soak in the great view of the lake, Glenmore, and also it's more relaxing and maybe perhaps peaceful. Taking a short stop right before the summit, and bikes, they're much smaller than cars, so in situations like this it's much easier to stop over and take pictures when you're on a bike. And now I've hit the summit and people are cheering up for me, which is very thankful. But obviously the Healy Pass is an easy climb even in Ireland, where you don't have huge mountains. On my right side, I just went past a cross And while I was cycling in Ireland, I came across a lot of the kind of statues. Sometimes it's Jesus Christ and sometimes Mother Mary. And it looks like those statues separate the religious, like Catholic parishes. The other famous one I saw in Ireland is in Slayhead. You can see here that unlike the north part where you are just climbing up and up besides the Glenmore Lake, south part of the Healy Pass is quite bendy with many U-shaped turns. It's a fast descent, so of course you need to be very careful, but it's also quite thrilling descent. When you cycle in the rural area of Western Ireland, these sheep are always your company. One thing is that bikes are so quiet compared to cars. So these animals like sheep and horses, they get startled quite easily. So you need to be careful and make sure that they don't just charge at you. And when you reach the bottom of the Healy Pass, then you're right in town Adrigal, where I cycled past in the morning. And then from there it was a easy ride to my B&B. And that wraps up my Beara cycling tour with the God-blessed weather. And I will see you in my next cycling video. Thank you for watching.